Welcome back to the Full-Time Ultras. We are into the international break, but one thing is a given that it's going to be a really, really tough battle when it comes to the Premier League title race. It is Arsenal, Manchester City, and Liverpool who are competing for that title, and the difference is really, really minimal. We are here in this video to look at which team is the best placed at the moment to go on and win the Premier League title. We're going to look at their fixtures ahead, and we're going to discuss how these teams have also performed. Joining us for this one is Aditya and Raghav. It's been like happy with the international break, how like the football played before the international break.
Why don't you go first?
So the key component is to play football, which United haven't been doing.
Yeah.
So it's a joke what's been happening so far.
We'll leave
So
United
I think
for that
Shahan's
for
question
another
doesn't
video.
apply
Yeah.
to me. It applies to you more because like it has to
Actually,
be football for me.
yeah, I think it will be in the video where we are more talking about the battle
Exactly.
for the top four. But in general, happy that the international break has come, or y'all were like, nah, the momentum was there. Like we missed Premier League in a way.
That's something that I can answer because I'm glad I don't have to watch this United for 2 weeks. This is my sentence, but I think Aditya will have more to say.
I mean, it's okay.
You get to watch Germany.
I get to watch Germany. That's good. And
Is it though?
It's been good for a
Yeah,
while.
for
Though.
Germany, it's been good.
And yeah, Chelsea have been okay. Like the last game, we'll touch on later. But yeah, it's not bad.
So let's get straight into the title race. It is Liverpool who are leading the way. 1 point lead they have. And following them are Manchester City in second. And you have Arsenal behind them. So City are leading Arsenal level on points. They're leading Arsenal in terms of goals scored. I'll start with you, Aditya. Let's go as per where these teams are in the table. Let's start with Liverpool.
Yeah.
You look at the last game. Obviously, they had that blip against Forest. You could say a blip because their form after that has been really good. What do you make of Liverpool as of now? Also, like kind of recapping how they were against Crystal Palace.
I mean, first off, I'm glad you asked me that because the last time we put him on the spot for Liverpool predictions,
I'm not talking to him about Liverpool only. Oh, छोड़ दो भाई. उसके हिसाब से Liverpool 10th finish कर रहा था, but yeah.
So they've been very impressive. The main talking point about them going into the season was the lack of the number 6 position, and they chased Zubimendi. Did not happen. And Ryan Gravenberch has probably been their player of the season so far. For me, he's been the key ingredient in that side. He's really made that position his own, and like it's not like he doesn't so much play it as a traditional kind of number 6. He's not like always sitting deep. He's got the ability to carry the ball into like midfield and even to like into the attacking areas. He can see a pass. He's also good at breaking up play, surprisingly, which I don't think a lot of managers envisioned him in that role. But just on Liverpool in general, they've definitely been the surprise package. I think a few people did expect them to be decent. Not like the drop off was not meant to be that much, but I don't think anyone expected them to be top and performing the way they are so far. It's going to be, but like again, you have this run of fixtures coming up. And
are you convinced they can sustain this?
No, I'm not. That's the main thing.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
Their squad still doesn't. I think I mentioned at the start of the season that they're 2 injuries away from a crisis. I still stand by that.
They've already lost Alisson, by the way.
Yeah, that's a major blow. And Alisson's probably the best keeper in the world right now.
I agree.
So that any side would be misfortunate to like not have him. But yeah, they're like that, especially that defense and midfield. 2 injuries, one key injury in defense, one key injury in midfield, and they're going to have a lot of trouble navigating a really tight fixture list.
Because even against Crystal Palace, they were they were good for the first 30-40 minutes. They should have blown Palace away, but after that, it just dropped, and Palace grew into the game, and they had some really, really good chances to equalize Palace.
Yeah.
And Liverpool were totally on the back foot. If a team like of course, Palace are having their own problems right now. But if a team with a more clinical front line, like say like Fulham at the moment, right? Yeah, obviously, they couldn't do it against City, but
Yeah.
they have those attackers to like finish off those chances. Or say someone like a Forest with Wood, one chance he gets, he scores. Those teams could hurt Liverpool, I feel.
Yeah, and Forest have hurt Liverpool, so they've. They, I think you will have those games. Like no team's going to be absolutely perfect throughout the season, especially early on. Is not very surprising that they're having a bit of an issue because again they are like learning like a new play style, and it will take time for them to grow into it, and they're still growing into it. But the way they've done it so far has been quite good. No team's going to dominate every game for the full. And Palace is also a side that has given other teams trouble despite their struggles.
Yeah.
They gave us some trouble. They gave you all some trouble. So I wouldn't read too much into that one. I think the main issue though from that game is the Alisson injury, as you said.
Yeah. So Raghav, we were just talking before the show that Liverpool now go into a phase where it's going to be really tricky for them because the start of their season was actually quite easy, I would say. Of course, they had to travel to United. They did their job over there. But they haven't faced like a really top team in the first, in this kind of the quarter of the season, whatever's been played. But now it completely changes for them. Straight out, they're going to face Chelsea. So it is first versus fourth straight after the Premier League resuming. Is this that spell you think which will define Liverpool's fate in the in the Premier League run-in?
Yes, it will, because like you can't discount the fact that they also have UCL football, and because UCL could have been the easy fixtures, but it's not helped by the fact that they're playing Leipzig and they're playing Bayer Leverkusen. So these two fixtures are also coming in between. So it's like it's Chelsea, it's Leipzig, and then it's Arsenal. So these three, like, you have to play a full-strength squad in all three games.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a Sparta Prague or
maybe against Leipzig they might rotate a little bit.
Leipzig are also in good touch.
Yeah, but
they absolutely bottled it against Juventus, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I think also Liverpool they've got 2 wins already in their Champions League. They've already won their first 2 games, so maybe they might.
But you can't take it easy in this new format. You never know what's going to
You
happen.
have an extra chance, so I think maybe they will think of that game as the game.
Considering that they are in the title race, they would want 2 less games.
Yeah,
like they would want to avoid any game that they can avoid. So they would ideally want to finish in the top 8 of the Champions League and avoid that 2-legged playoff in February or March, whenever it comes in. But I think this will define Liverpool's season, because if they can sustain this period, again, if you go into after the November international break, if you go into then till December, they have a pretty easy run. But if they can't sustain, then catching up to Arsenal and City will be more challenging. Like they need to sustain if they want to stay in the title race.
So Liverpool finishing in the top 4 now.
Yes.
One of the most
yes.
absolute bullshit predictions I've ever seen. But anyway, we'll move.
No, but did you expect Arne Slot to perform this well?
Top 4
I never expected him.
Top 4 though, yeah.
I didn't expect him to
I
perform
put
this
Liverpool
well.
in the top 4.
I never expected the post-Klopp era to be this good from the first kick of the ball.
Fair. But anyway, we'll move our attention to the team who's in second at the moment. It's the defending champions, Manchester City. It's not been very Manchester City in terms of their performances, Of course, they've been winning games a little bit, but they've also had these blips, with the biggest one being against Arsenal, where they couldn't win that game against a 10-man Arsenal. They followed it up by traveling to St. James's Park and drawing over there as well. And I don't know how Fulham haven't won that game in the first half. The amount, like Adama Traore could have, if that guy had his finishing boots on, he could have easily had a hat-trick in that first half. Easily had a hat-trick. So City are looking very, very fragile in the center.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, they need Rodri. I mean, it's a very lazy assessment, but Rodri is the guy who really keeps that team ticking.
Yeah, but surely Pep has to think that he could, maybe he has to have a backup plan where
He
you
will,
know,
but also it will take some time for them to kind of integrate it. Like
because Rico Lewis is now playing in midfield with Kovacic.
he's technically quite good.
Yeah,
and
he is. Yeah.
Kovacic is also fairly press resistant. He does dribble into trouble sometimes, but like from his time at Chelsea, he's underrated as a press breaking midfielder. But as Pep himself mentioned it, like if you lose a Rodri, you need like 2-3 players combined to give you what he does. And the main thing they're missing is that kind of midfield, almost like a general, where he gets the ball, he won't lose it, he will play the right pass. He keeps it simple. You don't always need like a complicated line breaking pass every time. You just keep it simple, keep play taking, especially against the teams that sit back. You need someone like Rodri to help you control the game all the better. Without that, you don't there aren't many players like him, and you always risk one loose pass or one ill attempted kind of dribble into midfield. You lose the ball and suddenly you've got to run all the way back, because City do play such a high line, but that also leaves that space in behind. So I think Rodri being missing is a very big reason why they're so open, especially in that midfield.
Yeah. In terms of how City's fixtures look, Raghav, so I think they're going on a easier run. I think they did have their tough share of fixtures at the start. They played the likes of Chelsea. They've played Arsenal as well. So how do you think City's fixtures hold up at least till the next international break?
I think it looks very, very good for them because, like, as you said, they've had their share. Like they've had Chelsea, they've had Arsenal, and they've gone through it with like 4 points from those two games. So this run, I feel that City have it the easiest of the three, because they're only playing Brighton. The only real challenge that they have is Brighton,
They're playing
and even
Spurs.
no, that's the AFL Cup, not the Premier League.
Are they not?
Yeah, it's the
It's
AFL
the
Cup.
EFL Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, acha,
Spurs
they're
is the
playing-
AFL Cup.
The Spurs they're playing after the international break.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. So Spurs, they play in the AFL Cup, but other than that, if you look at it, they have Wolves, they have Southampton, they have Brighton. That Brighton is just the
Brighton's
last
at
fixture.
Amex or it's
Amex.
at Amex? Okay.
So it's their last fixture before the international break. And if you look at the Champions League as well, it's easy. They have two easy fixtures, like relatively easy fixtures. They have Sparta Prague and they have Sporting, which you expect City to win. Like
yeah.
they can win unless Gyökeres decides to show up. Sporting can spring a surprise, but in terms of Premier League, they have it easy till the next international break, and the easiest, I would say, till the next international break.
Yeah, so I think for Liverpool and Arsenal, who will next turn our attentions to, they need to keep up with City, because coming into the November, towards that November-December phase, you do not want City to be leading. You have to win your games, but we'll turn our attention to the third team, and it's Arsenal. They've done quite well, considering Odegaard, one of their main creative players, not being there for such a prolonged time. They've done exactly what they needed to, even when the going got tough for them. Southampton taking the lead, Leicester equalizing. They showed I think, what they've learned in the last 2 years being in the title race, that the ability to churn out and win games. So what do you make of Arsenal, and what do you make of their chances now going into this?
Yeah, they seem to have, especially the season before last, when they absolutely collapsed from around mid-Feb onwards, I think.
March.
Yeah, like they had that dodgy one against Everton. I guess that was, late Febish. I don't remember exactly when it was. But since then, they seem to have learned, how that they have that more of a, they have more steel in them. They have that determination and just that willingness to be like, okay, if we're not playing well at a particular point, we are just happy to be very organized, very structured. The opposition can't break us down.
Yeah.
That kind of mentality has been really instilled into them, and I really props to them, because that's something that all title winning teams need, and credit to Arteta for that, and also their main set piece threat,
Yeah.
which is always
It's like you can literally get a
Yeah.
goal from anywhere.
guaranteed
Like
a goal a game, I guess.
yeah, you can nearly, because even if they are not attacking, say under the cloche, like they were
Yeah.
against City,
Yeah,
randomly it just pops up. They get a goal with Gabriel scoring, and they're in the lead.
yeah.
And it's such a good thing to have, right, in your team. So
In your Arsenal.
in your Arsenal, I was just going to say that, but anyway, so yeah, that's one thing which I think distinguishes them from Liverpool and City.
Hmm.
That ability to just get a goal out of nothing, and I think that can be really, really crucial going into the season. Do you think Arsenal can compete with City and Liverpool? Do you think they can sustain till December?
I think they can compete. I mean, I obviously had them winning the title. I still do, but I think I think they have the toughest run from now till the international break, because they play Chelsea, they play Liverpool, and they also have to play Newcastle. So and Newcastle famously are quite annoying for them.
So they're playing Chelsea at the Emirates.
No, they play at this
Stamford Bridge?
They're playing
Okay.
at the bridge.
So it's their last fixture before the international break. They play Chelsea,
Yeah,
and that before that they play Newcastle away, and they
So
play
both
Liverpool at
away
home.
games.
Yeah,
Oh,
both
wow.
away
Oh,
games,
back
but
to
they
back.
play Liverpool at home.
Liverpool's at
home.
Emirates. Okay.
That's 3 in a row.
Yep.
Wow,
And
that's
there's a-
3 in a row.
And there's
Damn,
a EFL
okay.
Cup in between Liverpool and Newcastle.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think they're going to, they'll do well to not completely lose track of. I mean, they'd be happy with a draw against Liverpool. A win is obviously better, but I think their goal for the next kind of month is to not lose sight of the top leg, the two teams around them, because if they go on a slide here, then it becomes difficult to catch up to those two. But like I think they have enough metal. They've got the right mentality. That's the main thing I want to say about Arsenal. They're mentally so strong this season, and even last season for most parts, that I do think they'll get enough on the board to not lose sight of it.
I think the biggest advantage for City is that Arsenal and Liverpool in this period play each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that plays right into City's hands, considering their run.
And also they also do play each other, and also their fixture run-ins are difficult.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know?
Not just their Premier League run. Even Arsenal are playing Inter in between Newcastle and Chelsea.
Yeah.
They're playing. They're
And
playing
Inter have been an
away.
absolute menace.
Yeah.
Inter away.
Actually,
Champions
Inter
League.
are the Arsenal of Italy in a way,
Yeah,
considering the way they defend and the way they
Yeah.
attack in a way. Yeah.
So I think City just have it in their hands. If they can capitalize on this run, they might just have a big enough lead. Considering their frailty and
To
not
take
having
into the
Rodri,
next. Yeah.
they need to capitalize on this 1 month run, wherein Arsenal and Liverpool are just have all the tough fixtures in one basket.
So the emphasis now falls on Arsenal and Liverpool to get
Exactly.
through this phase.
Exactly.
And get through this phase with not big damage done to their points. Otherwise, it could be like...
they have to win maximum.
Because
and-
I can absolutely see City signing a midfielder in Jan.
Oh, of course.
I think
There's
they'll
also
go
report
in.
that Guardiola's getting 100 million in the January transfer.
I read like around 80 is what
80,
I read.
100 million, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're surely going in for a midfielder.
Of course
What do you
they
feel?
They probably will if they get the right profile, though. I think that's what Guardiola has always emphasized. So if they get the right man, then they will go for it.
Maybe they'll put more salt into Liverpool's wounds and
Yeah,
go in
as
for
just
Zubimendi.
I was just thinking that.
Because that's the profile
Yeah,
that
exactly.
he loves,
Exactly. Perfect fit.
So yeah, maybe time will tell, but like we kind of deciphered from all these fixtures that City in going into the next international break do find themselves with a run of good fixtures, and it's up to Arsenal and Liverpool to keep that pressure on to Manchester City, because their run-in is really, really difficult. Do let us know, what do you think about this title run-in? Let us know in the comments below. Get the interaction. Do the usual drill: like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And turn the notification bell on so that you know when our videos drop. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.